looking at the study where we would like to test to what extent and what predicts creativity in global virtual teams, here are the data I'm preparing. So let me share the screen and show you what kind of data I put in this study so that we can together understand what data are here. So at the individual level, I selected the following data for this study. Team ID, just in case we need to ever match the data with the individual and team level. I included demographics, in this case, age and things like that, just for control purposes. I'm not sure if we'll need it, but just in case. Communication frequency, it will probably be not necessary, but I included those data here in case you would like to use it as a mediator or moderator or maybe predictor of creativity. So if it's not needed, you can always just delete it. Then cultural intelligence, likewise, it's probably not directly relevant in the context of creativity, but just in case you might want to use it either as a control or a moderator, I included it here. And I used the most popular instrument by Anne et al., just because it's the one that published and widely used, so it just seems like, lots of data on cultural background, so country where the person is born, studies, which one is considered home, some information on the background of the family, where the person comes from, international experience, those kinds of things. Much of this probably will be irrelevant, but again, if you ever wanted to include different cultural identity and nationality measures, I included it here for now. I did not include cultural values such as individualism, collectivism, power distance. It seems irrelevant overall. I included the cultural values such as individualism, collectivism, and so on. It seems irrelevant, but I thought, again, you might want to use it as some sort of, mediator, moderator. For example, research often suggests that people or teams that are high on uncertainty avoidance, they tend to be less creative because they take less risk. And so just in case you want to test it, I included the most popular and probably better instrument that we have here. Emotional intelligence, probably irrelevant. Delete it if you don't need it, but I thought, who knows, it might be relevant and might be useful. Language proficiency, you probably don't need it, but again, if you want to include it as a control, just in case I included it. Delete it if you don't need it. How many team members are actively participating at the different stages of team performance? Maybe for control purposes. Maybe some teams will be more creative, not because they are, whatever you hypothesize predicts creativity, but just because it just happens to be the case that they had more active team members, more team members worked hard. I included all peer evaluations, and you probably will not need it, but just in case included all of them, although the one that you might want to use for the individual level is the peer evaluations, creativity, and quality of the individual ideas. Intellectual contribution, I believe we call it. It's as close as we get when it comes to individual creativity, so it is here. And we also have self-evaluations. I didn't include them all, but I included self-evaluations when it comes to intellectual contribution and quality of the ideas. Again, in case you wanted to use it in some form. The big five, the whole instrument is here. If you want to maybe openness to experience, maybe extroversion as predictors of creativity, you have it here. Readiness test score, it's the closest we have when it comes to IQ. So it's the ability to process information and answer questions. If you think it might be relevant, you have it here. Self-efficacy, we measure it every week. You probably don't need it, but again, maybe it is a predictor of creativity. Team climate, all kinds of measures we've had, and I included it because just in case team climate moderates or predicts some sort of relationship here. And so I'll just, sorry, the year was wrong. So and team climate in terms of the psychological safety. Again, maybe people who feel safe to create, to be unusual, they create more, so try it. And then a little measure on team culture that we have here. The rest I don't think we needed, so there is one measure of team culture, climate, that we used past semesters, so just in case you need it, we have it. although this one was used only, if you scroll to the right, I think it was only the 2019, and we didn't add the data on this one, but you'll have the data. You will have the data, I just didn't update the code book completely for this part of the survey. So that's one, and I think we used it in 1A and 1B. So here are the data. Take a look at the list of variables. If you think anything else is needed, we will add more. But that's what I prepared for the individual level, and for the team level, again, let's do it together here. We pretty much will need all of it. So, but you need, team ID and team composition and, size of the team and percent male and things like that. MBA or undergraduate, co-located or globally dispersed, but then diversity, that's exactly what you wanted. So we do this. And let me see what else we have. Plagiarism, just in case you want to have that. And then I will add all measures of team report quality, including novelty and creativity of the ideas. Now, please note that we had somewhat slightly different dimensions for evaluating report quality in different semesters, and that's why we have so many of them. Like, for example, in 2010, 11, 12, we used 5 dimensions, including creativity, one of them, but that's how many teams we had, and that's how many semesters we used. Then in the subsequent semesters, we used a different set of measures, so for like 3 or 4 years, and then another set of measures, and then overalls obviously were calculated for every single semester. So I will include all of those data, but obviously you would have the creativity one every semester we had that, and so that would be like this one, for example, if you wanted to isolate it. And then if you look through creativity of the idea, so it was included every single semester as a separate question, basically the same question. So and so on and so on. So if you wanted to do it at the team level. Yep, if anything else needed, let me know. Otherwise, these data should be ready within 24 hours or so.